Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Bring It Down. Let's level up. We get a characteristic and a first tier R-type talent. Fellowship. I'm thinking Commanding Voice. Also like Lead by Example and Heroism. Right now, I have just enough ability points to use all of the abilities I want to use in a turn, but I can't attack afterwards. I'm 1 AP short. And this would help me solve that problem. But my main character doesn't do that much damage. I don't need to attack, I just want to. Let's do Commanding Voice. The range of the officer's abilities is increased by 3. The range of Voice of Command is increased by 6. Same stuff for Argenta. Ballistic skill. I like Fired Up. I also like Forewarning. And Integrity. This gives her a little bit more oomph on her opening turn. But I think Rack and Ruin is better. Yeah, Rack and Ruin. After the soldier deals damage to 3 different enemies, the soldier gains % more damage for their next attack in the current combat. That synchronizes really well with the Flamer build. Alright, and toughness for Abelard. I like Clenched Teeth, but it seems like overkill since most enemies are already doing 0 damage to Abelard. I also like Contempt. And Crowd Kill, though his strength isn't the most impressive. Epicenter of Slaughter is good. Makes him a little bit more defensive and gives him some more strength because he gets strength based off his toughness at the beginning of his turn. I'm not sure if the strength bonus is calculated after these temporary wounds are applied, because he gets them at the beginning of his turn. Like Impetus as well. I'm thinking Interception's the best option. Reckless Fury's pretty good. Let's do Interception. I'm assuming it can't proc more than once. You can't stack up reduce cost warrior R-type abilities. But when the warrior parries an attack, the next warrior R-type ability costs -1 AP less. It could just say -1 AP. Yeah, he is getting to the point where he has more abilities than he has AP. And I can't use everything that I want in a turn. So this will help with that. Okay, and let's grab willpower for Jai. I know fellowships are a primary characteristic, but I'm trying to select more talents that scale with willpower on her, since my main character has more of the fellowship talents. Now let's do inspiring speech. Air of Authority immediately grants momentum to the target equal to the target's resolve. And Ulfar will do ballistic skill. I think integrity for him as well. Or sorry, grab Rack and Ruin for Argenta. But integrity... his mobility is lacking, so anything that gives him extra movement points I think is worth grabbing. So while at full wounds, the soldier has plus 10 ballistic skill and plus 2 MP. You scum, I don't want to die. This poor soul was cut up with sadistic precision to make the process as excruciating as possible. I beg of you, end my suffering.
Keep your wits about you.
Before we head back and speak to Marazhai, I'm going to run around the chasm and see if anything's changed. Because that happened the last time we were in the arena. We found both Jai and Irliot. What is a sudden hurry? The Shrieker's dead. Where is that? My gut tells me that a scuffle is about to go down. I wouldn't be surprised if it was at the Shrieker's den. I didn't see what these guys said before they ran off, but I'll check this. They're probably going there to kill Marazhai. Must return to the Shrieker's den. My duty calls me.
I always keep my options open. Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Is that him? The one who butchered the bloodstained proselytes? What an affront to the cult. The witch's lost face, and soon it may no longer be a figure of speech. Alright, Sector. Unknown depths of the Labyrinth Dimension. Region Kimura. Recording location, The Chasm. Material, Gartherit, Bloodfeather's Hunt. Extracted. From the bloody remains by the Caring Hand, Scalpel, and Neurophage Tentacle of the homunculus, Elevanth. The rising currents carry the smells of pain, blood, ichor, and failed ambitions. The smells of the Dark City. With my wings flung open, I weave a path through the spires like a dark lightning bolt, chaotic and unpredictable in its patterns. To fly is to hunt, and everyone in flight hunts everyone else. Even I, Scourge Gartherit Bloodfeather, do not have the privilege of inviolability around these parts. I may become someone else's prey, except probably not today. This day, I am the hunter. My homunculus-modified olfactory receptors picked up the scent of my prey, and I tread cautiously as I approach it. The stench of Monkai is foul but varied, and the scent of my prey is quite telling. A powerful specimen, brash and reeking of the blood of others. I descend to the minaret that grows out of the nearest spire, provides me with an excellent view. Accelerated reflexes allow me to assess the situation in a fraction of an instant. It is time. But I still decide to wait and get a better look at the prey. A male Monkai, a pampered upper caste cub who is fed and equipped with the best their race can offer. It certainly arrived in the Dark City recently, a city which has not yet managed to leave a mark of perpetual expectation of doom on its flattened snout. The most glorious game which clings to life the strongest and leaves the sweetest death essence. Reflexes urge the muscles to act. I act. The Shard Carbine spews forth a stream of crystalline projectiles that howl and shatter as they pierce the flesh of the prey. A deadly slashing blizzard drapes the street in bloody snow, the bodies of random passersby caught in the fire falling to the ground. This is a common occurrence in the spires. Everyone around me flees from the field of death, whose borders I have made clear. The prey falls, but it is still alive. I did not expect the hunt to end with the first salvo. The prey is badly injured. I can easily finish it off in the open. The prey is trying to locate me among the tangle of spiked minarets. Its frantic gaze leaps helplessly from one spire to another, but my hiding place is too discreet. Triumphant, I revel in my superiority. The prey summons companions to its aid. A mistake. I unleash a new fan of crystalline shards, and the flesh of the prey blossoms with new cuts from my projectiles. Anyone who tries to approach it will be killed by the brittle shrapnel. The prey should have run away, not giving me more chances to cripple it. The prey is weak. Its frantic gaze leaps helplessly from one spire to another. My hiding place is too discreet. Oh, I already read these. Breaks into a run. Clever. By escaping from the open streets, the prey has deprived me of the advantage of my long-range weapon. But I will not let it escape. So I spread my wings and soar over the alley, pelting the prey with bursts of indirect fire. The chase must not end too soon. Petitioner wanted my prey to die slowly. The prey flees down the most predictable and straightforward route, hoping that its strength does not abandon it. Perhaps the body of my prey was modified, or it simply abounds with vigor. Even the heavy wounds inflicted by the first salvo cannot slow it down. I emit a frustrated shriek as I watch the path of my projectiles follow the prey without reaching its flesh. The hunt continues. The prey manages to elude me for a moment by ducking into a crowded street. The jet booster on my back emits a stream of ghostly blue flame, and I continue my pursuit. As I storm into the street, I see the prey again. This is a nice catch. The petitioner wanted me to deliver the prey to her, but I decide to do something different. When it is over, I'll impale the body of the prey on a spike protruding from the highest spire, so that it serves as testament to my victory. The initial horror caused by my sudden attack is already worn off. The prey suppressed its panic and is acting decisively and boldly. A commendable triumph of will over instinct. Seeking to slow me down, the prey turns some bystanders against me. It only takes the prey a couple of furious shouts to convince those huddled in the alley that a monster is coming for their heads. Lies. I'm only pursuing the prey. I met with frantic gunfire, and after making a sharp ascent, I take a pair of plasma grenades from my belt and hurl them into the crowd. The bodies of the gullible fools who believe the prey evaporate and turn into bloody mist. The luckier ones fire at me, and one of the shots brings me to the ground. I wail furiously, and finish them off with pointed bursts from my Shard Carbine. Cast me down like is an indelible insult. The conclusion is drawing closer. As I turn the corner, I triumphantly realize that I have driven the prey into a dead end. It is time for the massacre. The poison I receive from the petitioner as payment for the hunt is contained in the crystalline projectiles. It should have worked by now. It will slow down the nervous system of my prey, weaken its muscles, and render it unconscious. When I spot the prey, I am pleased to note the early signs of the effect my combat toxin is having on it. Its movements are slowed and it is blinking often. Spots are floating in front of its eyes by now. The prey is not where I expected it to be. Having climbed the ledge of a wall, It lunges at me and bellows. With my wings folded, I ratchet up the jet booster and glide under the prey. It lands behind me, disappointed. Everything will be over in moments. The outcome will be decided in close combat. Wasting no time, my prey and I seize one another in a violent, furious embrace. Every decision made over the course of this fleeting hunt is being weighed, tipping the scale that will ultimately determine the winner. My embedded glands spew hyperadrenaline into my bloodstream. My artificially grown muscles convulsively swell under the porous fabric of my ghost plate. I torment the prey with claws protruding from my forearms and knees, and the prey grabs one of the blades hanging from my belt and aims it at my throat. We struggle for the blade, but its point steadily approaches my throat. It touches it. It pierces the skin extremely slowly and penetrates the larynx. It keeps plunging deeper, touches the other wall of the larynx, and passes through. I can feel everything. My body softens with pain. My strength waning, I reach for the shard carbine and shoot the prey right in the face at point-blank range. The crystalline projectile whizzes within a hair's breadth of its face. A crushing blow turns my magnificent weapon to rubble with a mournful crunch. The prey grabs me by the throat, lifts me into the air, and snarls. It seems to want it to know why I attempted to kill it. Would I tell it if I could? About my petitioner, Kaikaros the Witch. About how insulted she was by the deaths of her fosterlings, the bloodstained proselytes, in the arena at the hands of my prey. About how badly she wanted to spite the prey's master, the sour-tempered homunculus Tervantius, who had arranged that insult. I do not know. My throat is crushed, and only a faint wail escapes it. I die. I am dying at the feet of my prey. No, at the feet of a Monkai. A humiliating end for one who earned the status of Apex Hunter of Kimura through torturous alterations of the flesh and a bloody pilgrimage to the very top of the spires. Does it hurt to perish like this? It does. Is it fair? It is. The chaotic burst of violence that bloodied the streets of Kimura ends just as abruptly as it erupted. Such is life in the spires. So I'm wondering if we had passed some of these Xenos checks where we saw that guy before. If some of those checks would have been easier, or if we would have had more options. So Scourge's adrenal glands. Adrenal glands enhanced by the homunculus, capable of dispersing pure hyperadrenaline through the owner's blood.
Is there money to be made?
I was hoping that'd be like a secret boss fight, but fortunately that's not the case. I was speculating that we had to pass these Xenos checks we keep finding and track him down.
I always have a backup plan.
And that would have led to a hidden boss fight instead of a book event.
Let us not dawdle. Keep your wits about you. Always keep your eye on the prize. Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Alright, got a little resistance growing. Look at us go. Time seems to stand still when you enter. Figures cast in shadow huddled against the walls turn to you. Everyone except the few standing frozen in the middle of the room with weapons in their hands. Argenta is panting, but her weapon is steadily trained on Marazhai. And thy will fortify my hand, and my faith in thee grant me strength. Alfar's rumbling malicious laughter echoes off the lair's ceiling. A nimble pest, aren't you? You could have surrendered without a fight, but have snapped your neck and spared your torment. But you chose to die more painfully. Marazhai, whose armor is dented in a few places, lets out a guttural laugh. What are you waiting for? It's about time we finished our little dance. Marazhai lightly brandishes his blades, laughing mockingly in his opponent's face. I can continue dancing with you for a long, long time, but I'm growing wary of your pathetic attempts. What is going on? Oh, sorry. Who started this? Did the wrong thing. Marazhai chuckles hoarsely. I do not care about your lackeys, Donald, but they do seem to care about me. The Mankai do not know their place in your circle. A pitiful spectacle. He called me Donald. He didn't call me Monkey. The abomination that you have allowed into the ranks of your companions must die. This is his will and my duty, rogue trader. Argenta's eyes burn with a frenzied, incinerating fire. Oh there. I decided to unwind by chasing the stringy Xenos across the ceiling. Join me, 8 Vader. And what? The rest of you just stood by and watched? Who am I to stand in the way of the Imperium's justice? Shireen, true wisdom lies in knowing when to step forward, and when to step back and blend into the wall. I want his help to get out of Kimura. I did not save Marazhai's life so you could take matters into your own hands. Put your weapons away, all of you. Argenta's gaze upon you is full of condemnation. I will not oppose you, rogue traitor, and my soul may clamor for the destruction of this foul thing. But I'll wait for it to give me cause. I will wait eagerly. Alfar slams his gauntlet-clad fist against his armor, giving a sigh of disappointment. I am not one to end the battle while the Xeno still stands. But no matter, scrawny inhuman. We'll get the chance to finish this another time. Marazhai takes his eyes off the exit and looks at you. The contorted mask of battle rage slides from his face, and he sheathes his blades. Your lackeys have seen enough of this show. I have business to discuss with you, Donald. Marazhai is casually inspecting his armor for damage, seemingly unperturbed by the attempted reprisal against him.
Monkey... rogue trader. There is something you must do for me.
Begins the Drukari, but he stops short. You see his face twist as he forces out the next words. That's right, we told him not to call us Monkai anymore, so he's actually respecting it. Yeah, we're gonna be openly hostile towards him. You have the nerve to disrespect the person who just dragged you out of the arena alive.
Dragged me out alive? The only reason you walked away from that fight in one piece is because I was on your side. Your self-delusion runs depressingly deep.
Marazhai allows himself a thin smile.
The soul of Erimeris, the Archon of the Reaving Tempest. It should belong to me. I do not know where, I do not know how, but that bitch tried to dispatch me without sullying her own hands, and she deserves to lose her life. Her soul will remain in my soul trap.
With a lazy nod, Marazhai indicates a dark crystal hanging from his belt.
When we at last face each other, and we will face each other, even if I have to gut all of Kimura to do it. And if you're there when it happens, do not even think of trying to deliver the final blow. Only an Aziriesh has the right to take the life of an Aziriesh, and that right is mine.
With the claw of his glove, Marazhai hooks one of the crushed plates of armor on his thigh and examines it meticulously. But why do you hate Erimeris so much? It was your own fault you ended up in the chasm.
It is all somewhat more complicated than you're capable of understanding. Our game of old must come to an end. My first step went awry because of Nazrake's treachery. Now all I must do is finish what I started. Destroy her with my own hands before she destroys me.
What do you want with her soul?
Simply killing her is not enough for me. No, it is too banal. Keeping her imprisoned for all eternity in a cage of misery from which there is no escape. That is a fate more to my liking. Her fury and torment will feed me until her spirit dries up like a fountain of blood spraying from a sliced artery. And also, it might make her resurrection problematic.
Resurrection? What resurrection?
Naive creature. The homunculi of Camorra, including Tavantius, whom Erimeris favors, are able to regenerate our slain kin from small pieces of flesh held in amniotic tubes. Any Drakari you kill on the field of battle can come for you again, albeit at a price, since the homunculus claims a portion of their client's soul as payment for this precautionary measure. Perhaps Erimeris was desperate enough or insane enough to resort to such a contract. Who knows? Having Erimeris' soul in my keeping might make her regrown form, if one appears, defective. She might not remember me or you at all.
Wait. Only in it. How do you pronounce this? Aziriesh? Are you related?
Erimeris is my sister. What does it matter?
You want to kill your own sister?
Yes. Your astonishment is making me think that the monkey are even more primitive than I first suspected. Do not tell me that blood ties carry certain prohibitions and taboos among your kind.
The Jukari looks deeply confused. You have a complicated relationship, I see.
Yes. I valued her until she went too far in her attempts to dispose of me. She valued me until I refused to bare my throat for the blade without a word. Our relationship has come to a dead end. Now the tie between us must be severed.
I don't think my character would care one way or the other who kills the Xenos, so... very well. Should we encounter Erimeris at any point, I shall allow you to deal the final blow.
The answer I was expecting. I do not expect to wait long for the confrontation. When my sister learns of what occurred in the arena, she will send assassins, or decide to come herself.
Marazhai breaks off. All his attention is now focused on a bent plate on his shoulder. A second later, he grips the edge of the plate, and with a strangled groan, tears it off. The piece dislodges with a hiss. Marazhai begins to straighten the bent plate with his hands, revealing the surprising strength contained within his lean body. Look at what the plate was covering. You're shocked to find no underarmor or clothing. It seems a thin, light armor is attached directly to the Jukari's pale skin, roped with veins. You notice 2 pinprick marks surrounded by purplish bruises. Something pierces flesh here. That is what kept the armor plate in place.
What are you looking at?
After a few seconds, some ancient awareness spikes in you. The rapt attention of a deadly predator is focused on you. Your eyes dart up. Marazhai has noticed your interest. Silently, he turns his head to you and leans down. His eyes bore into yours, his gaze mocking and charged with promise. Armor held on by meat hooks. The Jukari truly are perverted scum.
I do not expect a primitive creature such as you to understand something so beyond your intellect. All I need is for you to understand your obligations to me.
Marazhai lets out a low chuckle.
Let us see how you handle the tasks I've already given you. Remember, Irimaris is mine, whenever and wherever we encounter her. With that, I have nothing more to say to you.
Alright, let's compare equipment. I think the reinforced Cableite armor is better than the Incubus armor, though I do like the Incubi in general. He does lose some armor, only 5%, but his dodge chance goes up by, what, 30%? Approximately. What does he have equipped? Nothing unique, it looks like. Oh, Undying Rage. Each melee attack performed by the wearer increases their armor by their agility bonus percent until the start of their next turn. And a Battle-Scarred Mantle. When the wearer ends their turn, they remove burning, bleeding, and toxin from all adjacent allies. Then the wearer inflicts bleeding with a power of 10 plus 2 times number of removed negative effects on all adjacent enemies. Seems like a bit of an odd item for a Drukhari to have. It helps his allies, which is not very Drukhari-like. I got the Sword Dancer Cloak instead. There might be something better, but he's an assassin, so I expect he'll do a lot of dodging. Yeah, I thought we'd seen this before. It's a little different. Mantle versus Cape. Commander's Monocle. What do we have equipped? Let's do that instead. Alright. And other equipment for him. We should have better weapons. Yeah, 24 to 36. Slap that on right there and give him a ranged weapon as well. In case we need to use a ranged weapon. Better max damage. Also does that bleeding effect. And I find minimum damage is more valuable than max damage most of the time, because it's the guaranteed minimum damage where there's no guarantee you'll hit the max damage. Leave that alone for now. think this works with the assassin, right? Could lead into bleeding with him too. Maybe that's what I'll do. Guess we'll do awareness for right now. Nothing else really stands out to me. Sure. Nothing better right now. Also, real quick. I'm not gonna level him up till next episode, but I want to know. So he does have charge. That changes things up a bit. I assumed he'd be an operator, but he's a warrior turned assassin. That's be pretty strong, I think. I don't need to equip him too well, though, because he won't be with us for very long. You could use the pneumo boots. I'm going to put those on Heinrichs, though. There's potential to lean into a bleeding build with him. So what I might do instead give him that. And then we also have the Bloodseeker Clave, which also ties into the bleed effect. There was I might put this other cloak back on him. Inflicts bleeding when he removes the effects. It's not gonna help me find anything else. The increased armor. I don't think he really needs, but won't hurt to have. Yeah, I'm not sure what's more valuable here. +3 damage from flame weapons or the ballistic skill and crit damage. I'm gonna stick with the arsonist bracers because it seems more thematic. Yeah, I think that'll do for now. Alright. I call it here, and next time we'll speak to Marazhai. I guess other companions. We got new stuff. Or did I never loot this? No, it's more stuff. We got an Astartes Bolter, and an improved one. An Astartes Chainsword, which we already have. A combat shotgun. A dueling sword. After scoring a critical hit with the dueling sword, if the wielder has a weapon in the other hand, they immediately attack the closest enemy with it, using whichever attack costs the least AP. That's pretty cool. A flamer, another improved serrated glimmer steel blade, a Toby pattern plasma gun, gladiator mesh armor. Base armor property plus 3 deflection against melee attacks. Shard of Bloodstone. At the beginning of the holder's turn, all enemies at a 3-cell radius gain 1 stack of bleeding for each common effect on this enemy. Commander's notes. Whenever the wearer uses Combat Locus, the benefits of the targeted zone are multiplied by 4 instead of being doubled. Ranger armor. Plus 15% dodge against non-Eldari enemies. Intendant boots. Whenever the wearer uses a consumable item, they gain 2 MP and plus 20% dodge until the start of their next turn. We have found a few pieces of equipment that really give some significant bonuses for using consumables. It wouldn't be a terrible idea to build around that. Whenever the wearer performs a single shot, a range attack from any cover, this attack gains % armor penetration. Soldier Aquila Pendant. Whenever the wearer hits with a ranged weapon within melee range, the target gains plus 1 stack of the Perplex effect. Skin Patch, Gladiator's Healing Kit, and Sword Dancer Cloak, which we've already seen. Alright, well, let's divvy up our equipment real quick. This should be an upgrade for him. I know he already has that. Never mind. This, though, is better. And this might be better for him. Well, let's do this. And if I remember to actually utilize that, we'll be in good shape. And that actually works with the Combat Locus. Alright, I think that's good. Alright, I'm gonna call it here. Next time we'll speak to our companions, or check up on them, and then speak to Marazhai. Then we have to go meet with Tervantius again. And we still have to find Pascal. We know that Tervantius has Heinrichs. But we'll figure that out next time. Oh, we also have to level up Marazhai, so we'll do that next time as well. So, got a pretty busy schedule for the next episode. But either way, for now, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.